Good morning, students. Let's start our class. So this is a lecture on finite element analysis. This is my first lecture. So this is the plan of my lecture: introduction about FEA, advantages and disadvantages of FEA, discussion about the syllabus, and finally conclusion. So introduction to FEA. So FEA, it is a mathematical technique for solving complex engineering problems. So engineering involves solving problems. So for solving complex engineering problems, we need FEA. So how it solves? It divides the structure into small elements and applies equation to every element to solve the problem. That is, if we have a bar or a structure, the FEA method, it divides the structure into small elements. We call that elements as finite elements, and then it applies the equation to every element. Then solve that equation and combine the solution of all the elements, and finally provides the solution as a whole. So this is the method of FEA. Now the advantages and disadvantages of FEA, let's come back to it later. We can move to the next slide. Why FEA is needed? So in this diagram, you will be able to see a schematic sketch of a bar fixed at one end, and at the other end a load P is applied. We can easily solve this problem by applying the equation, right? We know whenever a member is axially loaded, the elongation equation is delta L is equal to PL by AE. If you know the cross-sectional area A, modulus of velocity E, and length of the bar L, you can easily substitute it as delta L is equal to PL by AE. So we can solve it and find the deflection. Now we have another problem here. We have a stepped bar. Instead of a regular bar, we have a stepped bar. So a portion with a higher area of cross section and another portion with a smaller area of cross section, and at one end we are applying a load P. Now here again we can solve this problem directly by applying the equations, right? So the same load P will be acting over this region, that is the region with higher area of cross section, as well as the region with the smaller area of cross section. So we can divide this problem into two problems, that is one with the region of smaller area and another one with the region of bigger area of cross section. We can consider this element as element 1 and this element as element 2, and we can solve it by applying delta L1 is equal to P L1 A1 by E1, and similarly delta L2 is equal to P L2 by A2 E2, right? So we can find the solution delta L1 and delta L2. To find the total deflection, we can easily find the answer by adding it up, that is delta L is equal to delta L1 plus delta L2. Now this is another case. We have a stepped bar, but at the region where the area reduces, we have a fillet, right? Here also the problem is becoming a bit more complex, right? So here this region is a filleted region, so the area reduces in a quadratic manner. So you have to use a differential equation here, but yet it is solvable by applying analytical method, that is analytical equation. You can apply and find the solution as you have solved it before. You have to consider the smaller rectangular portion as one portion, and the filleted region as another, and the third one with a bigger area as the another region. We have to separately apply equations for all these three regions and find the answer. Now coming to this case, you have a cutout section right over here. So here again the problem becomes bit more complex. That is, since there is sudden reduction in the area, so here it will be accompanied by stress concentration at this region. So the stresses, actual stresses involved will be different from what we calculate. So solving this by using direct formulas becomes much more difficult here. Now come to another one problem. Look at it here. Here it is a curvy portion over here, and we have an irregular pattern here. So solving it is very complex here now, right? I have given a simple object with some complex shape, but solving it is very difficult. So in this type of problem, FEA or FEM, it becomes inevitable. That is, without FEA, solving this kind of problem is very difficult. That's why in the first slide I mentioned it is a mathematical technique for solving complex engineering problems. So for solving complex engineering problems, we have to get the help of FEA, right? Okay, so we can come back to the advantages and disadvantages of FEA. So the advantages: it solves complex problems. As I said, complex geometry can be easily solved with FEA. Quicker results if computer is used. So unlike a analytical method, here it has to divide the structure into many number of divisions, and you have to solve all those smaller problems, and you have to combine it and give an answer. So computation is a bit tedious, right? So if you use a computer, it gives quicker results. Better presentation of results. Better presentation of results is, since we are using a computer, it gives results with color coding, with simulation and everything. So the presentation looks better. And coming to the disadvantages point, so it gives only an approximate answer. So this is an approximation technique. Say example, we have an answer as 100, the correct answer or the exact answer as 100. The same problem, if you use FEA technique, this may give you a answer like 99.9 or 99 or 99.99, depending upon what we choose, how we design the FEA model, right? So depending upon that, its accuracy varies. So it gives an approximate answer, but normally it is acceptable. And the second disadvantage is it needs a computer. Normally FEA cannot be done by manual calculation, or otherwise it becomes very tedious when we do manual calculations. Then answer needs validation. Normally whenever you give some input to FEA, it inevitably it gives you some answer, but you have to validate the answer. So in FEA you need to do some experiments to validate your FEA results. That is, you have to conduct some experiments and get an answer, and then you have to conduct the same experiment in a virtual mode by using FEA. You have to compare the results with the experimental method as well as the FEA, and if the results are within your accuracy, within the accuracy which you need, then we can say the FEA model is validated. Now you can use n number of loading, or you can use n number of trials, you can do n number of experiments and find the answer which you need. So without validation, directly using FEA as a calculation method is a bit difficult, right? Now we can discuss about the syllabus. 16 MPC 702 finite element analysis is the course which I am going to handle for you. The unit 1, relevance of FEM. So FEM, so it is the basis of finite element analysis. So colloquially you can say, if you use FEM technique with the help of a computer, we can say it as FEA, okay? Or otherwise the backend programs or the backend method used for implementing FEA technique is called as FEM, okay? So now relevance of FEM, the historical background, who invented it, how it evolved, all those things. Then the basic concept of FEM, how it is operating, discretization of 1D, 2D and 3D domains. That is, we divide it into different number of elements. So how it is defined, mesh refinement, convergence requirement, gradient and divergence theorem, boundary and initial value problem. So the basics of FEA techniques. So that is what is presented in the unit 1. The unit 2, characteristic matrices and load vectors. So for any FEA problem, you will be having some matrices and vectors. Solving those matrices and vectors, you will be getting the answer. So what are those characteristic matrices? What are those load vectors? So one-dimensional governing equations, structural and heat transfer problems. For all these things, you will be having those characteristic matrices. So those matrices and the solving techniques, all these things will be discussed in the second unit. The third unit, it relates with one-dimensional problems. That is, when a load is acting in only one direction, say the load acts only along the x direction, so the deflection will be maximum along the x direction, even though the deflection will be there along the other two directions also, but the deflection in the x direction is very high. So if the deflection in the other two directions are very minimal, or if it is not of importance to me, then I can solve the problem by assuming it to be a one-dimensional problem. Okay, so we can solve that type of problem by assuming it to be a one-dimensional problem. So how to solve all those one-dimensional problems we will be discussing in this unit. So ultimately the next unit should be about two-dimensional problems, right? So here the load will be acting in two direction, and in the third direction there will also be deflection. So but we will be neglecting it in some cases. So those kind of problems will fall under two-dimensional problem category. We will be discussing that two-dimensional problems in this unit. The fifth unit, so it deals with three-dimensional problems, but solving a three-dimensional problem is very, very difficult manually. So it is impossible for you to solve the problem. So three-dimensional problem is not included in your curriculum, but instead the syllabus you are going to have the basic elements involved in a three-dimensional problem. So in a three-dimensional problem, you will be dividing it into smaller elements. What are the basic elements involved in a three-dimensional problem? What are the equations involved in a three-dimensional element? So all those things, how to solve it. So what are the steps of solving it? All those things you will be covering in the fifth unit. So these are the things which you are going to have in the finite element analysis course. So conclusion, I am going to conclude it by saying that we have seen why FEA is needed, what are its advantages, what are its disadvantages, and then we have discussed about the syllabus. So this is what we have discussed in the lecture 1, and I conclude with this. Thank you.